The story begins in the year 1235. We are shown a Christian town where many people have gathered near a bridge. There, 3 women are about to be punished. These women are accused of practicing black magic and worshipping the devil. This was a time when women were punished based on such accusations. The soldiers put ropes around the necks of the 3 women. A man holding an old book says to them, "If you all confess your sins, your souls will be forgiven." One of the women, who was crying a lot and begging for her life, says, "Yes, I confess. I worship the devil and tried to perform black magic." The second woman says, "I only made and sent medicines. I never did black magic." But the third woman wasn't afraid at all. She looked at the priest and said, "You will burn in hell." After that, all 3 women are hanged and their bodies are drowned in the water. Everyone begins to leave. The priest then tells the soldiers, "We can't leave them like this. We need to pull their bodies out so I can read purification chants from my ancient book." But the soldiers say, they won't come back to life again, and they leave. The priest already knew about this curse. So in the evening, he starts pulling out the bodies from the water one by one. He begins reading chants over them, trying to purify them. When he pulls out the third body, it's so heavy that the priest falls into the water too. As soon as he comes out of the water, the third woman comes back to life, but in the form of a demon. She burns his book and hangs the priest from the same bridge. This is where the scene cuts. Then, the story jumps ahead by 100 years. Now we see that Christianity is spreading all over the world. And with it, major wars are taking place. 2 Christian warriors were also part of these wars. They were friends, one named Perlman, the other Perlman. They were very powerful warriors and had been fighting for religion for many years. They had fought many battles and never lost one. In the year 1344, during the Battle of Marna, they attack a city and take control of it. But during the attack, Perlman sees women and children in danger. By mistake, his sword takes the life of an innocent girl. Seeing this melts his heart, and he stops fighting immediately. Perlman says, "I had sworn to fight for God, not to kill innocent children and women." The Grand Master angrily replies, "You'll do what the church commands. You are just a soldier. The voice of God echoes in my ears." To this, Perlman says angrily, "Maybe that's not God's voice you're hearing." Perlman and Perlman decide to leave the church. The Grand Master threatens them, "You can't just leave like this. You must fulfill your vow." But no one is able to stop them. They leave and become rebels because they have broken the church's rules. For the next month, they search for a new shelter. One day, while walking by the seaside, they see some cattle wandering without a herder. Further ahead, they spot a house. When they enter, they find it empty. Upon searching, they find a woman in terrible condition and her husband dead on the bed. Both had died from a deadly disease. Their bodies were severely affected by the illness. Perlman and Perlman burn the house down to prevent the disease from spreading. On the way, Perlman asks, "We've survived so much, but how can a person escape a death like this?" As they move forward, they see a big city. Perlman says, "We might get caught. We shouldn't go in." But Perlman says, "We need food and strong horses to travel far." Reluctantly, they decide to enter the city. As soon as they arrive, they see strange things. People are in terrible condition. Dead bodies lie in the streets. People are crying, screaming, begging for forgiveness. Some are even killing themselves. Perlman says, "What madness is this?" A man standing nearby hears this and replies, "It's the plague. A disease with no cure. It's been spreading here for the past 3 years. 1 in every 4 people is dying from it." The man's name was Iqbal. He asks them, "Who are you?" Perlman replies, "We are travelers. We don't know anything about this." They were Christian warriors, but no one stops them. When they try to buy horses, a man notices Perlman's sword. It was a knight's sword. Soon, the city guards hear the news these 2 are actual knights who deserted the war. The guards come to arrest them. Perlman and Perlman fight back, but eventually get captured. They are brought to the cardinal. The cardinal was also affected by the disease and lying on his bed. He asks their names. As soon as he hears them, he is shocked. "I know you too," he says. "Your victories are famous everywhere." Then the cardinal says, "This plague is destroying our people. It's actually a curse from hell, cast by a witch using black magic." "We've caught that witch. She confessed herself." He adds, "The only way to break this curse is to take the witch to the church in Sever. Only the monks there can lift the curse." Perlman asks, "What do I have to do with this?" The cardinal says, "We can't do this ourselves. But if you help, the witch can be taken to Sever. Will you serve the church again?" Perlman refuses. So the cardinal imprisons both of them. In the same dungeon, a girl was already there. When they see her, Felsen asks, "Is she the witch?" Perlman replies, "She doesn't look like one." That night, Perlman has a terrible nightmare. He's killing an innocent woman. He wakes up and sees the girl crying, and scars on her waist as if she'd been badly beaten. Seeing this, Perlman changes his mind. He decides to go on this mission not for the church, but to save that girl's life. The next day, they meet with the priest and say, "We'll help you, but this girl must get justice, and the charges against us must be cleared." A well-known soldier joins them, and so does the priest. The priest has a map, but it's a 900-mile journey through the mountains to the church. Perlman and Felsen don't trust just the map. They need someone who's been there and returned. The priest takes them to a man in prison arrested for fraud. Perlman makes a deal. "If you take us to Sever, we'll clear your charges." He agrees. Now they're ready. Along with the priest, a soldier, and a guide, they take the girl in a locked cart. When they go to retrieve her from the dungeon, she attacks them, but Felsen knocks her out. Then they take her away. As soon as they leave the city, the cardinal dies. On the way, the guide keeps looking at the girl. He asks the priest, "Is she deceiving us?" The priest replies, "Focus elsewhere. She's just trying to scare you." The guide asks, "How do you know she's the witch and the one who cursed us?" The priest says, "She was found in a village, saying strange things no one understood. 7 days after we brought her to the city, the plague spread. Everywhere she went, the same thing happened." The guide says, "No such girl came to our village, but the plague came anyway." As they travel, Perlman and Felsen talk. Felsen says, "Someone's following us." They stop and catch him. The priest says, "He's a servant of the cardinal. His name is Kay." Perlman says, "You should leave." But Kay says, "No, I want to serve you. In return, make me a knight." Felsen laughs at him. Later, a fight breaks out. Kay can't defeat Felsen, but fights bravely. Perlman is impressed and includes him in the journey. Kay admires Perlman and Felsen's battles. When Perlman gives the girl food and a blanket, she says, "You're not like the others. You're a good man." She asks, "What will happen to me in Sever?" Perlman replies, "There will be justice." She tells a story. In our village, a woman was accused of black magic. They filled her pockets with stones and drowned her. They said if she sank, she was human. If she didn't, she was a witch. She didn't sink, so they burned her alive. Perlman assures her, "That won't happen with us." She points toward the priest. Perlman asks, "Did he hurt you?" The girl nods yes. When Perlman returns, the priest asks, "What did she say to you?" Perlman replies, "Why do you want to know?" The priest warns him, "Don't reveal your heart to her. Don't trust her. She's clever. She'll turn us against each other." They stop in the forest for the night. The priest says, "We must keep watch." So the guide takes the first watch. He looks at the girl and says, "She reminds me of my daughter." The girl becomes sad. When he's about to leave, she cries, "Don't leave me alone with the priest." He asks, "Why are you afraid of him?" The girl grabs him. As the priest approaches to help, she injures his hand, steals the key from his neck, and escapes. Hearing the noise, Perlman, Felsen, and Kay arrive. The priest tells them she ran away. They go to a nearby village to find her. That village too was hit by the plague. Most were dead or sick. The girl tries to use her powers. When the guide, seeing her as his daughter, moves toward her, Kay thinks she'll kill him. He pulls out his sword and accidentally kills the guide. Kay panics. "I didn't mean to." He wouldn't stop. "He was calling me Mira." They find the girl. She cries, "Don't take me back. I had to escape. He hurt me." She met the priest. Everyone is heartbroken. The next morning, the girl is locked back in the cart, and they resume the journey to Sever. Before leaving, the priest tells Perlman, "Don't speak your heart in front of her. She'll use it against us." He adds, "Last night, the guide talked about his daughter, the witch heard it." They stop in front of an old rope and wood bridge. The guide says, it was strong 90 years ago. Now it's very weak. Still, they decide to cross. They tie the cart and move carefully. The bridge begins to break. Kay almost dies, but the girl saves him. They somehow cross, and the bridge collapses behind them. They enter a dangerous forest, with no clear path. They decide to rest there. At night, Perlman thanks the girl for saving Kay, but she says things that make him suspicious. He wakes from a nightmare and sees a man with a weapon near the cart. Perlman is shocked. The man says, she will get us all killed, kill her. Perlman stops him. The girl hears everything and starts making wolf-like sounds. Before they understand, wolves attack. While escaping, one of the monks is killed. Perlman is deeply saddened. Next morning, he decides to kill the girl. The priest stops him. Perlman pushes him aside. Perlman says, we're close. We've reached the break. Perlman changes his mind and continues to the church. Perlman says, when this is over, I want to go back to where I was born. When they reach the church, they find all the monks dead from the plague. The priest picks up a prayer book. He's the only one left. He tries to perform an exorcism, but the girl reveals her true form. She speaks of everyone's past. Perlman realizes he was trying to save her not for justice, but to cover up his sins so he wouldn't go to hell. The girl says, more people died in the name of religion than from plague. Then the priest realizes she's not a witch. She's possessed by a demon. He begins an exorcism, but the demon burns the bars and flies into the church. Now they all understand the demon wanted to reach Sever. That's why he killed the guide and the monk. They were in his way. When they enter the church, all the monks are dead. They have been copying the holy book for years because only that book could destroy the demon. Now, the priest has the last copy. Only this can end the demon. Perlman tells the priest, you'll have to fight this battle alone. Perlman asks, are we fighting the demon or saving this girl? Perlman replies, both. When they enter the church, the demon appears. Perlman tells the priest to begin the exorcism. The demon starts attacking them, throwing things in the air. Soon, the dead monks disappear and rise again, possessed. They attack. The priest keeps reading, but the demon kills him. The book falls. Perlman fights the demon but is burned. Kay grabs the book and continues reading. Just as the demon attacks him, Perlman saves him. Pins the demon's wings to the wall. The demon tries to kill Perlman, but he doesn't give up. When the prayer ends, the demon returns to hell. The girl returns to her real self. Only Kay and the girl survive. Everyone else is dead. They bury them there. The girl thanks Perlman and the others for saving her and bringing her out of darkness. She walks away with Kay, with hope. And that's where the story ends. This was the tale of darkness, faith, and redemption. If you want more stories like this, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. A new tale awaits.